What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. So you guys seem to really be enjoying these top 5 videos for decks. As much as I love reviewing decks of cards, I think top 5s give you guys a little bit something more. So you get kind of mini deck reviews in this list. It helps us interact, it keeps us all talking to each other. It's just something that seems to be good for everyone. So I am back again with yet another top 5 list. This one is going to be special to me because it is for a company that I currently work at. So as some of you know, I work at Pure Imagination Projects. It's the same company that makes the Cherries, the Melies decks, and a bunch of other decks that I've reviewed on this channel. And that is including our newest deck, which is the El Retro Casino playing cards, which just hit Kickstarter last week. If you guys haven't seen that, I'm gonna leave a link for it down below. We really want to get these cards printed and we really want to get them in your hands. So the sooner you back, the better for everyone. Before we get started, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
So as somebody who takes a look at the intricate details inside of the designs of decks of playing cards pretty much every single day, as a card lover and a magician myself, there's just so many decks to choose from. And that's one thing that I really do love about these top 5s. It kind of helps narrow the scope between what I can live without and what I never want to live without. So let's get into it. Number 5, the Black Icon deck. The blue ones came back, I think back in 2013 or 2014, I'm not sure. And it was kind of a take it or leave it in terms of the way that the cards handled. They were fairly less quality than what we would normally get from the USPCC in today's world. The black ones are essentially just a V2 of the blue ones. However, the quality of the card stock has been upgraded to feel just like all of your favorite decks. These cards are printed on crushed premium stock or B stock, whatever you want to call it. They feel really good, they look good in flourishes, they look great for Magic. They are not marked, although they kind of look marked. The deck features standard faces, but with a custom Ace of Spades and custom Jokers, as well as a double backer and a blank card. In general, this is a deck that I feel could be used for cardistry, Magic, or just playing poker with your friends. And that was number 5. This is my last one of these, by the way, and look how destroyed that tuck box is. I think if there's any testament to how much a magician uses the cards that they say are their favorite, look at the tuck box and you can see if they're being real. Coming in at number 4 is the Livingstone playing cards. Now these, in my opinion, are probably one of the more underrated decks that Pure Imagination has ever done. The tuck box is done in this beautiful matte green and gold emboss. It just looks so good and so clean. The paper stock for this deck is a little bit different as well. It kind of feels like the Fontaine Carrots V2 and V3. Thanks to the standard faces and two-way back design, this deck is pretty much perfect for all of your Magic needs. As well, it looks really good in flourishes, and I can't get enough of that kind of Erdnase green color. I think for playing cards, and especially playing cards marketed towards magicians, Erdnase green, it's a good way to go. And that is the Livingstone deck at number 4. Number 3, you guys had to know this was coming. We are talking about the Cherry Casino playing cards. Now, the Cherry Casinos come in multiple colorways. They can be seen in teal, they can be seen in blue, they can be seen in black, red, purple, green, and even pink. It was definitely hard to narrow it down. I know that the V3, the teal colored cherries, are very nostalgic for a lot of good reasons. However, I found myself really torn between black and pink for my favorites, and I think in this case I have to go with the pink. Now, in the past, I would have argued with you that the black one was probably the best colorway of the cherries since the teal version. However, after a couple different iterations, I have fallen in love with the Flamingo Quartz pink. I love the feel of these cards as well as how good that metallic pink looks. It catches light really well and it's just very aesthetic. As well, in terms of casino decks, it's really hard to beat Cherry Casino in that they have kind of a legacy in the playing card community, and they're very universally loved. I won't spend too much time on this one because I did just review it when it came out, so I will leave that link somewhere either in the description or I'll put a card up here somewhere at the end of the video. I just love these cards. I love them so much. Now, something that I think also put into perspective how much I love these was the full CGI trailer done by Murphy's and AV Tones. I mean, that trailer was absolutely ridiculous, and it could not have sold these cards better. All right, so we had the Black Icons at number 5, we had the Livingstone deck at number 4, and we've had the Pink Cherries at number 3. So let's get into number 2. All right, now my number 2 pick might surprise some of you. However, if you know me, you know exactly why this deck is so high on my list. Number 2 is the Lone Star playing cards. This is not only one of my favorite decks of cards by pure imagination, it is absolutely one of my favorite decks of cards of all time. Right when you look at the deck, you can see by the cracked and faded aesthetic of the tuck box that you're in for a real treat. But once you open the tuck box, you're greeted by a lovely borderless back design that is one way and has so many different colors just staring at you. Now this deck I don't think gets nearly enough praise. I mean, just look at how good it looks. Now, I know that this deck is not for everybody, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't think it was for me. And I found that this is definitely one of the best handling decks of cards that the USPCC has ever made, bar none. If you own this deck, you absolutely love the way it feels, and I would argue that with just about anybody who has ever purchased this deck. I mean, this deck looks good in flourishes, it looks great for Magic, it feels amazing. It's just one of those decks that to me, you can't really beat it. The paper stock itself is enough for me to buy a brick of these, but I do appreciate that borderless design. I think it looks really cool. It is very, very different and very unique, but I think that's part of why I love it so much. Oh, so good. Oh. I love this deck so much. I love so many things about it. Even just look at that Ace of Spades. Ooh. Ooh. All right, so that is number 2. All right, so another recap. We had the Black Icons at number 5. We had the Livingstone deck at number 4. We had the Pink Quartz Cherry Casinos at number 3. And the very, very delightful Lone Star deck at number 2. Number 1 was definitely difficult because this deck comes in multiple colorways, so I had to choose my favorite once again. But that is the Les Melies playing cards. Now this is the Conquest Blue, which I guess technically is the latest version of the deck, but we do have more versions to come. Now, what I really love about this deck and one of the key selling points for me is actually the history behind it, which I found very interesting. So this deck is based on the movie Trip to the Moon, or the French translation of that, which I believe is pronounced Le Voyage dans la Lune, I think. Now, the significance of that movie is that it was the first movie that the world had ever seen. It was the first motion picture that was out there. And one thing that I really love about that is that the first version of the deck, which was this one, printed by the Legends Playing Card Company, was actually where it all started for Derek McKee and Pure Imagination. So the first motion picture inspired the very first deck in what would eventually be a brand that is known by the entire playing card community. I think there's just something really symbolic and kind of sexy about that story. There's a lot of rich history there. Now, this deck does also come in red and white, and there is the V1, which was printed by Legends. This version is printed by the United States Playing Card Company, and the aesthetic of it is so beautiful. The ink used on it is a metallic blue, very similar to the blue used on the Tahoe Blue Cherry Casino deck. They're printed by the USPCC, and the stock and finish on these is absolutely stunning. This is a perfect workers deck for all the magicians out there because it has standard faces, but has a little bit of flair to the Jokers and Ace of Spades. Also comes with things like a double backer and a blank card, and it has a fairly non-suspecting worker's back that you could use in your Magic routine. There's really nothing not to love about this design, and I've never personally heard anybody say that they don't like this design, but I also don't think that it gets the appreciation that it truly deserves. Just listen to this. You can't make that shit up. Ooh, yes. Now, in general, I use this deck a lot, and I use it for a lot of different things, but I think, again, the real big selling point for me on this specific edition is just how clean that blue looks. I love the way it catches light. In some lighting, it looks like it's flat, like non-metallic, and then in other lighting, you can tell it's clearly metallic, so I really, really like that. Ooh. Ooh. Just love it. So that is number 1. Well, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's top 5 list. It was kind of difficult to make, but I think it was totally worth it. So let me know if you guys agree with my list down below. As well, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we are currently doing a Kickstarter for our new deck, which is the El Retro Casino playing cards. The idea was taking the 1970s vintage Las Vegas downtown casino style and just fusing it with modern standards to make a deck of cards that's very reminiscent of Las Vegas's past, however keeps up with the stock and feel and finish that you guys love in playing cards today. So if you guys haven't heard about that project, I will leave the link down below. I highly recommend clicking it and just going and seeing if you're interested. These decks are gonna be super cheap. They're running for $8 a deck. We want them to be affordable, but we also want them to be real. So go check out the link. As always, guys, please don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe for more awesome videos just like this one. Let me know what top 5 you guys would like to see in the future. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of requests for top 5 Fontaine decks, so maybe that'll be the next one. Anyway, guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.